Now, Boris Johnson has knocked over a child during a game of street rugby in Japan. The Mayor of London took out the 10-year-old schoolboy as he raced down the mini turf pitch. There you go. The young man was a little shaken up, but was soon up and running again and said that despite the pain, it had been enjoyable meeting the Mayor. I'm not sure if you've seen the stills images, but it looks even more dramatic in those. There he is. He certainly meant it, didn't he? That's Boris taking on a youngster. Not for the first time he's collided with a youngster on a sports field. Remember this? A year ago, when he sent a 9-year-old tumbling to the floor during a football match. Oh yeah, leg out, down he goes. Sorry about that, he said. He'd already done it though by then. Oh, journalist Wallis joining us now from central London. How does he manage to laugh it off and get away with it, whereas if somebody like George Osborne or another senior political figure, they'd really be in a lot of trouble?
Well, I think the first thing to bear in mind is that actually, if you watch the footage carefully, it wasn't Boris taking out the child, it was the child taking out Boris Johnson, because Boris had the ball. Look at the size of that child. No, Boris had the ball and the child tackled him and he didn't score the try. So anyway, but that aside, you're right, Boris can get away with it in a way that other politicians can't. He has that ability to defy gravity, as David Cameron once put it. And I think that the reason is simply that he's not like other politicians. And the public are thirsty for politicians just to be authentic, even if that authenticity involves, you know, being a bit of a buffoon, having an interesting private life and knocking over small children on the rugby pitch. And, you know, you can deconstruct Boris Johnson into the components of ways in which he isn't like other politicians. There's his Milky Bar Kid Wurzel Gummidge hair. I mean, you know, if you imagine, you know, shaving his hair off, he'd look like a shorn Highland cow and he wouldn't be anywhere near as endearing. You know, there's the fact that he's always scruffy. I mean, you know, if you made Boris Johnson smart and put him in a smart suit, he'd just look sinister and be a hate figure rather than a figure of affection. I think all of these things add up to a perception that this is a politician who isn't plastic, isn't prefabricated. He's got a sense of humour, and for that reason he's got the Heineken effect, which is that he can appeal to parts of the electorate that other politicians can't reach.
One of the problems, though, presumably, though, if you take that to its natural level, is, OK, he can get away with knocking over kids or taking their legs out on a football pitch or even getting stuck on a zip wire with union flags in his hands, stuck there for an hour or thereabouts, I think. But when it comes to him potentially being Prime Minister, does that then follow?
Well, I think the jury's out on that, really, isn't it? And we're seeing a similar phenomena all over the world with politicians who aren't normal politicians having an appeal to the public. We've seen it with Jeremy Corbyn, for instance. We've seen it with Nigel Farage, with Donald Trump, with Rob Ford in Canada. And the real question is, can they translate that celebrity sort of colourful flamboyance into serious political clout? Are people going to trust, you know, this buffoon Boris Johnson when he's got his finger on the nuclear button? That's the question that people always ask. And again, the jury's out on this. I mean, he is a very serious politician, really. He's got some serious policies. He's done some serious things in London. And in opposing George Osborne's cut of tax credits recently, he's shown that he wants to be seen as this compassionate conservative, this one nation Tory. So he's got a serious side, and I kind of sense that if he manages to combine that with his celebrity appeal and with the sense of humour, you might find that we've got something to contend with come 2020.
OK, thank you.